And oh, we're live. And
There
hello.
we go.
Hi, how
It's
are you?
even though you hit the button, it's always a shock, right?
Right. And this is how we roll. We're always a little, like we said, keeping it real here in the quarantine, although we're not really in quarantine so much anymore, but we are always keeping it real because, you know, that's how we roll. So, hello.
Yes.
Good evening. I know it's later than normal. It's what time is it? 8, 9, 8,
Right
8 here, 9
on the East Coast.
there. Yeah. So anyway, happy Wellness Wednesday late. I'm drinking, not that we're doing Thirsty Thursday, but I am having a glass of wine. I'm having some of the Adelante Cabernet, and Cawley's drinking a Sauvignon Blanc.
Yes, the bottle is in my fridge, so can't show the bottle, but it's tasty. We had shrimp for dinner.
Oh, nice, very nice. Well, I'm glad that your wine is in your fridge because the first thing we wanted to talk about yesterday, but unfortunately I was unable to make the live, was proper wine storage and how important it is to store your wine not on top of your fridge or your dryer or your, washing machine vibrations in your hot,
Right.
garage or the best place. I store when I get magnums and stuff, I take them to my mom's in Connecticut and I leave them in her basement because it's like the optimal temperature and they're, stored
Hmm.
horizontally and the humidity is good. They have one of those big jammy things that sucks the moisture out of the air, but it's still humid, because that's important too.
Dehumidifier.
So, correct, correct. Thank you. Whatever, girl. The other half of my brain. Um, so, I mean, I know the basics. I mean, I know how to store wine, but I did actually do a little research to be a little bit more on point with, what I was going to be saying or whatnot. But people sometimes will store their wine in their fridge unopened for long periods of time, and that's too cold.
Right.
And that is not good for your wine. It
Right.
can it can change the flavor, it can change all of it. And I didn't know, well, I do know that I have ruined, I was just telling Cawley, I have like 5 or 6 Marilyn Monroe bottles of red wine that are probably would be the most hideous wine if they were ever opened because they were stored on top of my fridge for many, many years. But I didn't know the vibration, besides turning your wine into probably the worst vinegar ever, the vibration can move the sediments around, which affects the aging process.
Yeah, I
And
didn't
it
know that
can,
about the sediment. I mean, about the vibration either. It was funny to read.
yeah, because I was like, oh, I'm like, what about the vibration? But it makes your wine, the longevity, not as good.
Right.
So that's interesting. And, storing it at the proper temperature. And I think, yeah, it's 55 is the optimum temperature if you don't like know exactly. Like that's pretty good for red and white, like as just like a baseline.
Hmm.
You don't want it to be, you know, 25 degrees because that's too cold, and you don't want it to be too hot and you don't want you don't want to leave it in your hot car while you're running errands. If you pick up your wine, you want to, get it somewhere cool, but it also needs to be a stable environment. Like
Right.
don't go hot, hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold.
Right.
You know, when you get your wine, let it sit in the box for, maybe a day and let it settle and then put it in your wine fridge or put it in your closet or your basement or somewhere where it's cool and dark because you don't want UV ray lights to hit your wine either. Because
Right.
what is that? That it can damage the wine flavors and the aromas. I mean, I took notes, people.
Oh, wow. You are really prepared. And it
Well, I
needs to
mean,
be poured horizontally. We didn't discuss
yes,
that. The cork needs to
yes.
be kept moist.
It does need to be kept moist, and you don't want to have a lot of fluctuation. This was interesting to me in the humidity because the cork can expand or contract, and it can allow air to seep in or out, which is not good for your wine, and it can cause your wine to become corked. So it's definitely very important to know how to store your wine in a wine. You can get a wine fridge that holds, I don't know, 10 bottles. I mean, it's not super expensive if you're going to be purchasing wine and you don't have a basement or you live in Texas or
Yeah.
Phoenix and it's really hot.
And
You
they're
don't know where to.
there.
No, I know. I love my mom's basement. But yeah, it's important to know that you're storing your wine properly because it can last. And when you open it, like you said, yours is in the fridge, it can last our wine can last 3 to 5 days, but you need to store it properly. You could take what are those things that suck the air out?
Corvin.
Yep. So one of those, and you put the thing in and it sucks the air out and you put it in your fridge and it makes it last longer if a bottle of wine lasts 5 days in your house open. Which
Yeah. I store my whites. I don't store my whites in the fridge until I'm going to drink them, and then I put them in my fridge to cool off because I don't have a wine fridge.
Yeah, and even bubbles. Like people will put bubbles in their fridge for like weeks or whatever. No, you should put it. I do have a wine fridge, but I'll move it from the wine fridge into the like regular fridge. So I'm going to utilize the bubbles so it gets a little bit cooler.
Before you drink it.
Before you drink it, and a good way to cool something down is half water and half ice if it's not quite cool enough and you have people coming over at the last minute and you're like, oh my God, it's not cold enough. So you do half ice and half water bath. So anyway,
I have in my day put it in the freezer and forgotten about it.
Yes, I have done that as well. I also, if you out there didn't know, this is a flight attendant fact. You can open a bottle of wine with a hard sole shoe and a pen. Just a fun freebie. I saw a flight attendant do that years ago on an airplane. We had no wine openers on the plane.
And they were able to do it?
Yeah. You just beat the pen with a hard soled shoe and it opens up the bottle of wine. Pushes the cork in. I mean, that's like if you're.
Oh, push the cork in. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I can see that.
If times are tough, and they were. But
that's not recommended.
It's not recommended, but platinum medallion wanted a glass of wine. That's just a fun flight attendant fact. So just sharing that.
When times are tough,
right, camping, whatever. And then today we were talking about sulfites and how they're people will say, I want a wine without sulfites, and is that possible?
No, because they're naturally occurring, but there are also added sulfites, which can be the problem because people can be sensitive to them and have negative reactions. But you can't have a wine without any sulfites.
Right. And why do they add them?
Well, it's to protect the wine from oxygen before it reaches your glass. But
it's just to extend the shelf life. It's like if your bottle of
it's preservative to
if your bottle of Yellowtail is sitting on the store shelf for a decade.
Your magnum Yellowtail won't go bad.
It won't go bad
because not go bad.
There's plenty of added sulfites. I think you had posted. I'm sorry?
That's why you should leave it on the shelf.
Yes, forever and ever, next to the Twinkie. But our max sulfites is 100 parts per million, I think. Didn't you post that? Or am I remembering?
All of our wines have less than 100 parts per million. Right. The FDA allows up to 350 parts per million. So that's
a big difference.
Right. And a lot of people feel it if you have a sensitivity to it.
Correct. Yeah. So it's interesting. I mean, learning more. I mean, obviously I have known how to store wine not on top of my fridge for years, but just to be learning more information and why do they add sulfites or why is that? Why can't you store your wine here or there? It's just, I think it's fun to learn about, to have more wine knowledge. So
yeah.
We hope that you all are enjoying it as well, and you're not storing your wine on top of the freezer, and I was like, why would somebody store it near their washing machine? But hey, you just never know. I mean, I don't think that would be a good plan at all.
No, but maybe their
And
laundry room is in their basement.
yeah, but wouldn't it like shake off during like the spin cycle?
Well, that's
I mean, I'm just asking.
I don't know.
So don't do that. Don't do that. Store your wine. Optimal temperature is 55 degrees. Know that our wines don't have any added sulfites. You cannot find a sulfite-free wine, I don't think, anywhere on the planet.
Mm-mm.
But don't hold me to it in case somebody comes up with one.
No,
You
you
know.
can't.
But anyway, and tomorrow is Thursday.
Yes. So join us. We will be sipping something epic.
Yes, sipping something epic, and we cannot wait to share it with you. So, sorry for the late live. Thank you for the understanding about yesterday. Family issue came up, family matter, but we will see you manana drinking something, as Cawley said, epic.
Yep. Good to see you, Molly. Have a good
All
night.
right. Good night.
Bye.